Quick test. Why does a burrito run nearly double the price the moment it leaves the restaurant and arrives at your door? Why does your smart TV carry more commercials today than cable did back in the 90s? And why is Google, the company built to organize the world's information, now pushing a dropship toaster at you when you ask a simple question? If the internet feels like it's actively working against you lately, you're not imagining it. You have been caught inside a very deliberate economic experiment. We used to operate under a user experience economy. Businesses worked to keep you satisfied so you would keep returning. Today, we are living inside the user extraction economy. The mission is no longer to fix your problem. The goal is to make the problem just irritating enough that you pay to make it stop. It's a calculated decay, hollowing out every single app sitting on your phone. From TikTok to eBay to that fitness app you swore you'd uninstall back in January. There is a technical term for what is happening. It was coined by writer Cory Doctorow, and it might just be the most important word of this decade: Enshittification. And to understand how we ended up trapped inside this digital strip mall, we have to examine a business model that begins exactly like a drug deal and ends with you as the product. But to see where the rot started, we have to travel back to an era I like to call the millennial lifestyle subsidy. Let's go back to around 2014. If you were alive and owned a smartphone, you likely remember that it felt strangely cheap to get through the day. You could get a stranger to drive you across town in a car for about the price of a sandwich. You could have a mattress delivered to your door with free 2-day shipping. You could stream The Office on Netflix without any ads for almost nothing. We thought this was innovation. We believed technology was simply making everything affordable. We were wrong. It wasn't efficiency, it was charity. Specifically, it was venture capital charity. This is step one of the Enshittification cycle. Be good to the user. Companies like Uber, Amazon, and DoorDash were burning billions of investor dollars to fund your lifestyle. For every discounted ride you took, the company was almost always losing money. They were paying the driver more than you were ever paying them. Why would they do that? Were they generous people? No, they were predators. They ran at a deliberate loss to eliminate the competition. They slashed Uber's fares until you stopped taking the bus. They made Amazon so seamless that Radio Shack quietly went bankrupt. They made Netflix so good that you just dropped your cable. They bought your loyalty with impossibly low prices. They locked you deep inside their ecosystem. And once every competitor had died and you'd erased the cab number from your phone, the subsidies ended. Because here's the thing about venture capitalists. They want their money back eventually. And usually they want quite a lot of it back. This is the moment the internet started turning on us. The moment they stopped being good to you and started serving the people who actually sign the checks. And if you think the ads on YouTube are bad now, wait until you see what Amazon has been doing to your searches. Welcome to step 2. Abuse the user to benefit the business customer. Once a platform has you locked in, they no longer need to keep you happy. They just need to keep you barely content enough that you won't walk away. This creates a surplus of attention they can then sell to the highest bidder. Take a look at Amazon. The first few pages of any search are now a minefield of paid placements you have to navigate. If you search for running thing shoes, Amazon isn't trying to surface the best running shoes. It isn't even trying to find the cheapest ones for you. It's showing you the shoes whose manufacturers paid the most for ad placement. The user experience degrades. Finding quality products gets harder, so the advertiser's experience gets better. It becomes easier to drive a sale. This is why your Instagram feed shifted from friends' photos to TikTok reposts and drop-shipped Galaxy projectors. Mark Zuckerberg didn't break your feed by accident. He did it because a clip from a stranger keeps you scrolling far longer than a photo of your aunt. SCAT. And more scroll time means more available ad slots. It's the same reason delivery apps stack 5 separate fees at checkout. It's the reason Airbnb hosts charge you a massive cleaning fee and then still ask you to strip the bed and take out the garbage. They are squeezing the lemon. The trouble is the lemon is you. Squeezing you for cash is one thing. That's just ordinary capitalism. The real horror of enshittifications kicks in at step 3. This is when they stop caring about the product at all and start distorting reality itself. And to understand that, we need to examine why Google search became so terrible in recent years. For 20 years, Google was the librarian of the internet. You asked a question and received an answer written by a real person. But recently, researchers at Leipzig University confirmed what everyone had quietly suspected. Google search is getting objectively worse. They discovered an inverse relationship between content depth and search ranking. Basically, the shallower, simpler, and spammier the content, the higher Google ranks it. Why? Because of something now called AI slop. Content farms are using AI to pump out millions of articles with titles like Best Toaster 2025 or How to Fix an iPhone. None of these pieces are written by human beings. They are generated by bots specifically designed to game Google's algorithm. And Google stands by and lets it happen. Why? Because if you get your answer instantly, you close the tab and leave. But if you have to wade through 5 links and scroll past 10 ads just to learn how to boil an egg, Google makes more money. Confusion is profitable. Friction is revenue. And nowhere is this more predatory than in the world of dating apps. Hinge's slogan is designed to be deleted. That is a lie. We're back at 525. A lawsuit filed in San Francisco claims that apps like Tinder and Hinge are deliberately designed to addict the people using them. In 2024, a class action was filed against Match Group, the parent company of Tinder and Hinge, accusing them of deploying predatory design tactics. The suit rests on a simple economic argument. If the app genuinely worked, if you found love and deleted it, Match Group loses a paying subscriber. So they have gamified loneliness. They tuck the most promising matches behind paywalls. They trickle out likes to keep your dopamine barely ticking, just enough to hold your attention, but never enough to find someone. It's not really a matchmaking service. It's more like a slot machine where the jackpot is human connection and the odds are permanently stacked against you. The product is worse, the price is higher, and the experience is increasingly hostile. In a normal free market, this is the moment everyone leaves and finds a competing option. The tech companies had already anticipated that, and that leads us to the final and most dangerous stage of enshittification. Abuse everyone to claw back every scrap of value. Once a platform becomes essential infrastructure, it no longer needs to compete on quality. It competes on captivity. Apple does this with iMessage. They deliberately degrade the experience of texting someone on an Android phone. Blurry images, missing read receipts euros, not because the technology can't handle it, but because they want you to pressure your friends into buying iPhones. It's social coercion dressed up as a product feature. Look at streaming. We left cable to escape exactly what cable had become. Now the average household is managing a stack of streaming subscriptions that approaches what those cable packages used to cost. And they are quietly slipping ads into the tiers you are already paying for. Disney Plus and Netflix have both raised their prices sharply, now costing far more than at launch. You can't abandon Amazon because the local stores around you are mostly gone. You can't abandon Uber because the public transit system in your city has been gutted. You can't abandon Facebook because your grandma is on it and she has no idea how to use Discord. They behave like slumlords who stop repairing the plumbing because they know you have nowhere else to move. So is this it? Actually, no. History shows that enshittification is often the final act before a platform collapses, and there are ways to accelerate that collapse. We tend to treat these tech companies as untouchable permanent institutions. But recall that MySpace looked completely untouchable. Yahoo looked untouchable. AOL owned the entire internet until the day they suddenly didn't. Enshittification is a symptom of weakness. It means the company has exhausted its ideas and is now looting the place before it all falls down. The remedy involves something called interoperability. It's really just a technical name for your right to leave. Imagine if you could quit Facebook, move to a different platform, and still send messages to everyone who stayed. Imagine being able to carry your entire social graph with you. That destroys the lock-in. We are starting to see the first cracks. The European Union forced Apple to adopt open charging standards. The US Department of Justice is currently suing Google for operating as a monopoly. The FTC is pursuing Amazon. Though the real transformation has to come from us. We have to stop tolerating the slop. When an app treats you badly, delete it. No. Seriously, euros, delete it. Back open source tools that do the job instead. Switch to Firefox in place of Chrome. Use Signal rather than WhatsApp. The internet was built to connect people, not to function as a strip mall or a casino. And while they can acquire the servers and purchase the politicians and rig the algorithms, they cannot buy the fact that we will eventually get tired of being treated as the product. The only way to beat a fixed game is to overturn the table. If you want to understand more about the strange economy we are living through, watch this video next, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Unless YouTube enshittifies the subscribe button by next week and charges you $5. See you!